Nice.
Oh, it's the eve of the post-eve of the post-eve. I guess that means that St. Patty's Day was yesterday, not today.
It was yesterday.
What are you, a fucking pirate over there?
Aye.
St. Patty's Day was yesterday.
Cranky.
That's right.
That's Australia.
So, no. So we're trying to do Irish accents for the first 3 minutes of the St. Patty podcast.
It's going to be the longest 3 minutes
We
It's
ever.
going to be
failed.
awful, but we're going to do it.
failed.
Are you ready?
No, the timer's already started 2 minutes ago, so we got a minute left.
Let's start over. Yeah.
Ow.
Freedom. Or that was Scots.
Well,
That wasn't Irish. That
well,
was
you know,
Braveheart.
it
Was
was, yeah.
Braveheart was Scottish, right?
Was it?
Braveheart?
Yeah.
William Wallace?
William Wallace.
Was he Irish
That's
or
good.
Scottish?
I don't know.
You can do it. Like you at least talk.
William
like,
Wallace. Well, my name. I can't say my name, can I? I
No.
said my full name, didn't I?
you almost did.
William Wallace.
Right.
So am I allowed to say my last name in this?
No.
No.
Well, if you were to.
Absolutely not.
All right.
So
My
my
fair
last
lady.
name
The
is,
rain in
What
Spain.
is it? It's Seabear.
What?
What?
All right,
We
this
suck.
is this
Yeah,
is lame.
That was
All
a
right, so look,
disaster.
well, this was in an effort to celebrate St. Patty's Day because on March 17th, the Ides of March, is a day that we celebrate St. Patty's Day. And nowadays, it's associated with wearing green. We got parades.
And green beer.
Whenever they're not canceled.
And that was
then you got
and
yesterday.
beer.
green vomit.
The
They-
holiday is grounded in history that dates back more than 1,500 years ago.
Wow.
Their
That's
earliest-
1,500.
That's 1,500 years ago. Their earliest known celebrations were held in the 17th century on March 17th, St. Patty's Day,
So it goes back
Marking
1,500
the
years, but it
anniversary
was settled.
of
That
the
was only
death
300 years ago.
of St.
doesn't matter.
Patrick.
That math does not work.
Wasn't he?
It does.
He was a Catholic monk.
It's when he dies.
Wasn't he a Catholic monk?
Well, the real St.
goes
Patrick
back-
was born in Britain.
It goes back 1,500 years, but was celebrated in the 1700s.
Right.
That's correct.
So he died like 1,100 years prior to his celebration.
Yes.
So
Wow, they
much
dug
of,
that one up, didn't they? They're like, we need
much of
a
what
frickin'
is
holiday for the
known
Irish.
about St. Patrick's life has been interwoven with folklore and legend. Historians generally believe that St. Patrick, the patron of Saint of Ireland, was born in Britain, not
Ireland.
Ireland, near the end of the
Ireland.
4th
Ireland.
century.
Ireland.
What?
So at age 16, he was kidnapped by the Irish raiders and sold as a slave.
Shut up.
Is that the Barbary
Shut
Pirates?
Slap my
up.
ass and call me St. Patty. That's true. At age 16, he was kidnapped by Irish raiders and sold as a slave to a Celtic priest. That's where it began.
A priest bought him.
Come here, taste some Jesus.
Was he a druid?
Show me your
Was he a
Totoro.
druid?
What are you quoting?
What?
What the heck was that?
Oh, sorry. So he was sold to a Celtic priest in the Northern Ireland.
So he was a druid of some sort?
Right. Well, after toiling for 6 years as a shepherd, he escaped back to Britain.
He was a
He-
shepherd. So he had like
he-
sheep?
I
What?
guess he does. He had like the.
What the hell are
Did
you
he-
reading?
Did he have a big hook?
Well, I've got this thing in my mind where I pull up some little interesting factoids, whether they're true or not. I don't know.
Is this some bad movie?
It's called Leprechaun.
He eventually
Yeah, no
returned to
shit.
Ireland as a Christian missionary.
Where'd the
Okay.
leprechaun come from?
All right. I don't know all the details
God.
about it. Those are all just folklore and stuff. But I will tell you this:
And
I
Lucky
found
Charms
a-
cereal.
I
Was he
found
wearing a
an
mask?
interesting factoid about St. Patty's Day that most folks don't know.
Okay.
And I'm going to share just a little snippet of it because I don't know that much about it. I'm not much of a. I enjoy history, and this is a little bit about U.S. history, but it's negative though because they had the Irish. They were coming in from Ireland, and they were landing.
Came in from Ireland.
They were landing in New York.
Leprechaun.
And what the fuck? They were landing in New York, and they didn't have jobs, and they were like, "I gotta fucking do something. You could be a police officer, and you
Wow.
could." That's where all
Yeah,
the
he turned Cuban.
That
all of a
was
did.
sudden.
Bulgarian.
that was kind of weird.
What the hell was that?
That Ireland guy
So
sounded
they
like
they
Cuban.
joined a list. They say, "Hey, look, man, if you want to help out, join the army and head south." All right. So they're like, "Sounds good to me, laddie. I'm gonna jump on the next plane and head down south to fight the fight." So
Not
they
bad,
they
not
got
bad.
to fight.
they got in a wagon.
Not bad.
They
A
got in a
wagon.
wagon because there's no planes back then.
They have cars,
I don't
buses.
believe they had
What
cars
year?
either.
What year are we talking about?
This was in
It's
the
2002.
This was the
They had airplanes.
1780s. 1715s, whatever.
They didn't have cars, no.
No, they didn't. So they went down to fight the battle and protect Texas.
Did they have
And-
big like horse buses?
Oh, I'm sorry. Big what?
Horse buses? Oh, they had stagecoaches, but did they have like bus size?
Like double-decker wagons?
Yeah, like big ones.
Big
Huh.
double-decker
That'd be
wagons.
So if you
interesting.
like, I want to go from New York to Washington D.C. and there's like 30 people that want to do that.
Oh, yeah,
did they,
you could
did they
do
have
that.
like
Go upstairs.
6 horses pull on a big?
Those were
Carriage.
called trains.
And you can go upstairs for the sleeper coach.
Yeah. No,
Those
I know they had trains, but did they have the horse-drawn version?
No.
How do you know? Were you there?
No, I wasn't.
Well,
but
but could you imagine
seen
the
movies.
liability on that? I mean, look, you got a 30-person.
That's where insurance
vehicle
companies
and-
came from.
Well,
They didn't have
maybe.
insurance back then.
Actually, they did.
They probably did.
They did.
probably
Insurance
did.
started. The insurance was started because of the boat business going back
Yeah,
and
those
forth.
ships. Yeah, you're right.
You know, that the Lloyd's of London was actually one of the first insurance companies out there. 277 syndicates of the Lloyd's of London. We was actually a coffee shop in fucking England.
What?
Crazy stuff. So people were like sitting in a coffee shop and they're like, "Hey, I'm gonna get your stuff from point A to point B. Would you like?" And they were like, "Are you sure it's gonna make it there?" Yes, it's gonna make it there. Well, if it doesn't make it,
I'm screwed.
yeah. So it's gonna make it. I will make sure that you're funded for it no matter what. So, but you're gonna pay me,
Well, if you're
and that's how it all started.
Pay
And
me
the-
extra. You pay me extra, I'll make sure it gets there.
So
it
well,
actually started.
that's probably true too.
It
Absolutely.
actually started in Game of Thrones.
Game
Yeah.
of Thrones.
Yes.
That's brand new.
Yeah. So back in that time, in the Game of Thronian era, they, if you remember the show, if you were fans of it, there was a scene where Arya needed to kill a ship insurance guy,
Yes.
and he was the one that was, and I guess he was corrupt
St. Patty's Brigade.
That was 1511.
during what is the Lannisters?
I don't know. I don't know. That's fake. Anyway, so you said
mean
you
that's
were
not
on a
real?
wagon going to Texas.
St. Patty's Brigade.
Dragons,
No, not on a wagon.
Smaug.
A wagon. You were going to Texas.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hello. Hello.
I was waiting for him to finish his story about
Game of
Right.
Thrones.
Game of Frickin' Thrones.
We can go in deep detail on that.
But we
but
were
I
talking a
don't
little bit
want to.
about the insurance too, because they were trying to get the product back and forth. So they were talking about the Lloyd's of London. So the Irish folks would get off the boat. They needed a job. They were dispatched down using military paths to get down to Texas to defend Texas, and they noticed that the soldiers, the Irish are Catholics, well, the majority, and
I like that.
they were sent down,
And they're called Beto.
and they noticed that they were storming villages in Texas that were populated by Mexicans, and these Mexicans were Catholics,
Yeah.
and they were
Yeah.
slaughtering them.
Oh, not cool.
Not cool. So these Irish soldiers were like, "Yeah, this isn't cool. This isn't what I signed up for." I
Oh,
signed
you
up.
mean the Irish were slaughtering Catholic Mexicans?
The United States Army
the
was
ones they were supposed
slaughtering.
to be fighting
Yeah,
with.
they're fighting
were trying
with the United States Army, and they're
Yeah.
they're pillaging these fucking little towns of in Texas that were
Well,
populated
Texas
by
used to be
Mexicans.
Mexico.
Yeah. I got you.
So
We were
I think the
expelling
leader
them.
of this was
That's why people hate Columbus,
Yes, I know.
because he's
So
a,
they had,
a marauder.
they had a group. It was
And
about
a
200
rapist.
soldiers that got
And
together
white.
and they created something called the St. Patty's Brigade.
Ah.
And St. Patty's Brigade is known, I don't want to say throughout Mexico. They probably have been, the woke folk have probably eliminated the whole concept that white people actually helped the Mexicans down there. But that is true. In fact, they have a statue in Monterrey, Mexico with John Riley, who is the leader of the St. Patty's
Was he in
Brigade.
Step Brothers?
Yes, he was.
Yes, he was.
John
He's
C.
also-
Reilly.
He was in the Talladega Nights.
Yes, he was. Yes,
So
he was.
I thought it
So
was
hold on.
interesting.
So hold on. So St. Patty's Brigade fought against the U.S. Army.
Yeah, they turned and they
And they defended
they defended
the Catholic villages.
They defended these
Mexico.
people from being
That's cool.
murdered.
I'm on board with that.
And they were just like, "Hey, look, we'll take you back to Mexico. We're not going to allow, bless you, we're not going to allow you to be." They just basically protected them. They say, "Look, you
I
got to
like
get the
that.
fuck out of here." But you know what? We're gonna not let them kill you. And I thought that was cool. I thought it was a nice story. I didn't like the idea that they went against the United States Army and fought against them, but that was the whole concept of it. Look, there are assholes in every army, every
Asshole.
division, every platoon.
You're right.
You know, there are people out there, and you know that wasn't the game. That wasn't what we signed up for when
Right.
we're trying to defend the Texas. Was to murder people.
Yep.
You know, that wasn't the game plan.
Horrible
Well,
things.
it's been bastardized into green beer and vomiting everywhere.
Yeah.
Is what it's been
So,
bastardized into.
There were no snakes around for St. Patrick's Day to banish from Ireland, so that was one of the.
Just like Cinco de Mayo. That's not a thing in Mexico. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
no one
why-
gives a
why
shit
is
about
That is
that?
that's a purely American-made holiday.
Yeah, but it's their Independence Day.
No, it's not.
Oh, okay. What is it?
It is nothing in Mexico.
But okay, why do we do it?
I don't know
Oh.
because people want to drink margaritas.
Okay. Well, we can drink it on any day. We can pick it on a different day if you want.
Yeah, Cinco de Mayo is not a real holiday in Mexico.
So they've got another thing called leprechauns.
I don't think that's true, dude. It says Cinco de Mayo is an annual celebration
It's an extremely
held
small.
on May 5th. The date is observed to commemorate the Mexican
All right.
Army's
Well, look,
difficult victory over
But
the
that's
French Empire.
true. It is true. But let me tell you something. The Mexicans don't give a fuck about
They
it.
don't
Right.
celebrate it.
Okay? They don't give a fuck about
Meaning
it.
they have other
It was
holidays.
it was a very small battle, but it is a purely American-made holiday
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
because we discuss it with my team in Mexico, and they're like, "Yeah, that's not anything down here."
That's so funny.
So another thing about St. Patty's Day is with the leprechauns. You know, leprechauns are likely based on Celtic fairies. The
Huh.
red-haired, green-clawed leprechaun is commonly associated with St. Patrick's Day. The
Is
original.
That looks like-
Rumpelstiltskin?
That looks
Yeah,
like Prince
yeah.
Harry.
Wasn't the Rumpelstiltskin thing? He would he steal your kids or something like that? But you had
Yeah.
to give him you get him to say his name backwards, right?
Was that what it was?
Yeah.
No, you had to guess his name.
Yeah, Rumpelstiltskin. You had to guess his name.
No, I mean, you had him to say. You had to get him to say it. Well, I don't know. I'm going off a stupid horror movie,
Oh, what is my name?
so I don't know.
No, you had to guess his name.
The fairy tale is she can't sew, and so he comes in and he's like an amazing. He can sew like anybody's business, and so he starts sewing for her.
He's a sower,
He's a sewer,
sowing his seed.
and no,
Easy.
no,
easy.
wow,
What
what?
kind of leprechaun was
Yeah.
And
this?
he was all nude.
Oh,
So what? I
It's
don't
Lucky
remember.
Charms.
I like this leprechaun.
Yeah, right. I mean, he's sewing, and then she says she's going to get in trouble if he doesn't sew or something, and so he says he'll keep doing it. But
I thought you had to make him.
No,
say
something
his
about
name.
him stealing her firstborn child. I don't know. There's so many fucking stories about that.
I
but-
thought it was you had to get him to say it
Yeah, you do. You got to get him to say his own name.
backwards.
no,
No,
that's not
no, you
it.
have to guess his name. What is my name?
We're not talking about Beetlejuice.
I'll give you a.
What?
He had a poem or no, God bless it, a riddle. You had to solve a riddle.
No,
Okay, come on. Let's just find out. What is the damn riddle or the thing? Okay.
her
here
many
we go.
guesses fail, but before the
Oh,
final
spin
night,
straw into gold. There we go. In order to appear superior, a miller lies to the king, telling him that his daughter can spin straw into gold. The king calls for the girl, shuts her in a tower filled with straw and a spinning wheel. She demands she spin the straw into gold by morning, or he would cut off her head. Oh, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
Then she has given up all hope. An imp-like creature appears in the room and spins the straw into gold in return for her necklace, since he only comes to people seeking a deal or trade. When next morning the king takes the girl to a larger room filled with straw to repeat the feat, he once again
Oh.
spins in return for the girl's ring, and then eventually,
skip all that shit. It
yeah,
says
skip,
he steals the kid.
still,
He finally consents to give up his claim to the child if she can guess his name within 3 days.
guess-
There you go.
yeah, she has to guess his name.
Yeah, it's what we fucking just said.
No,
yeah,
you-
yeah.
But
You-
the way she got it is he said it himself.
She tricked him.
I
She
don't
tricked
think
him.
So scroll down.
It says her many guesses fail, but before the final night, she wanders into the woods, searching for him, and comes across his remote mountain cottage and watches unseen as he hops about his fire and
Yeah.
sings.
Yeah, he's singing a
The
song.
queen
She
will
can't guess
never
my
win the game,
name.
for Rumpelstiltskin is my name.
Oh yeah.
Oh, she
my name.
overhears him.
And
Yeah.
then so the
And
next
he's
day,
he's all there. What's my name? What's my name? Yeah.
bitch.
Oh, that's where that came from.
That's where that came from.
Yeah.
Oh, badass. Oh, that's,
Nothing's original
that's
these days.
That's
All
the
right,
gayest thing
well.
you've ever said.
So anyway, that's according to Wikipedia,
All right,
if
so
you believe it.
the
I believe
the Rumpelstiltskin, a leprechaun. These
And he made cereal with
leprechauns
marshmallows.
were belief, and the belief in leprechauns stemmed from the Celtic belief in fairies,
Which is really good cereal, by the way.
tiny men and women who could use their
Stiltskin?
magical powers to
Rumpelstiltskin?
Lucky
serve good and
Charms.
evil.
Oh,
Sometimes the
that's good
Celtic
cereal.
folk tales leprechauns were cranky souls responsible for mending the shoes of the other fairies.
Oh,
Mending the shoes. What are called? Cobblers. So he was a
Yeah.
cobbler.
the cobbler.
Keebler elves, even
Keebler,
that's where that came
cobbler
from
elves.
too. They
Cookies.
were,
Were they leprechauns?
I guess so. And then they
Or
Or are
turned
leprechauns a form of an elf?
well, wasn't that the Keebler elves? They went into the help homeboy
was a big
with the
shoe,
shoes.
right?
Yeah, come there in the middle of the night.
I don't know.
I
Well,
don't
one other
know.
thing about the St.
I'm
Patty's
not
Day
up
was
on my
the
leprechaun.
shamrock.
Me neither.
Lore.
The shamrock was considered a sacred plant.
Okay.
Isn't a shamrock a clover?
It is. The
Isn't that a-
shamrock, a
isn't that a
three-leaf
weed?
clover,
Yeah, it's all the shit that's
has
in
been
your yard.
associated with Ireland for centuries.
We dumped a bunch of
was
poison
the-
on it.
Yeah,
It was called
seriously.
the Seamroy
The
by the
stuff you wanna
Celts
tear out.
and was considered a sacred plant that symbolized the arrival of spring. According to legend, the St. Patrick's used the plant as a visual guide when explaining the Holy Trinity.
You ever sat in a clover patch and looked for a 4-leaf clover?
Yes.
Oh, I would
I
like
did that as a kid. I did that as a kid a lot. I don't know why. Why would I
Because
have
you're
done
supposed
that?
to get, I don't know what you were supposed to get. Good luck.
Four-leaf
No,
clover's
meaning like
luck.
where was I? I guess we were in some various parks or something. I don't know.
You're in Thailand.
I was in
Yeah, you were
Thailand.
in Indonesia. You didn't have any.
You're in Cambodia.
You didn't have TV. You couldn't watch cartoons. You were just. You
you
didn't have
started-
anything else to
we
do.
sat
So you
around looking
searched
for 4-leaf
weeds.
clovers.
Paul, go outside and play in that little clover field over there.
Go
Like
play in the
little patch.
weeds.
That's supposed to be my dad.
Yeah, he's.
What's
What's his name?
the hell is that?
Clint?
No,
Cletus?
nah, he's
Carl.
but what's that?
What?
Damn it, Bobby! What is that name? What's his name? Hank Hill. Your dad was Hank Hill.
No, he wasn't.
Never watched
Not
it.
at all. You're totally wrong on that one.
That's Boomhauer,
Oh.
and you got that one nailed. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Did you finish? Are we done with
I never watched that
St.
show.
Okay. Well, I just happen to be Irish. You just want to gloss over this whole St. Patty's Day and move on with
about your
life.
heritage. Nobody.
You son of a
right? You
bitch.
want to take a vote?
No, I thought it was interesting.
I did too. I'm just kidding.
Well,
Rumpelstiltskin especially.
over the whole thing, Rumpelstiltskin was actually
He's German.
Rumpelstiltskin's got a fantastic story. But I enjoyed the learning about the St. Patty's Brigade
course.
because I didn't know about that.
You know, how often do we celebrate shit that we have no idea the background
A
behind it?
lot. St. Patrick's
no,
Day.
Dude, we're talking every holiday.
Cinco de Mayo.
We don't know our own country history. We don't know. There's so much shit that we
Labor
don't know.
Day.
Martin Luther's King
Exactly.
Day.
You
Labor
know what,
Day.
You know what Labor Day is about?
No, I don't. Well, I mean, it's to honor the American worker.
No, it's about all
But
the
I'm
women
sure-
who go through labor to give birth.
Oh, see, I feel so stupid.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, you're right. I mean, there's several
we
holidays
don't know
that
yet. We don't know the history of this stuff.
I didn't know when I was a kid. St. Patrick's Day was just a time to. It didn't mean anything to me as a kid.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't drink beer or anything like that. We never celebrated or
Right.
had parties or anything like that. Cinco de Mayo was the same. It never was a big thing when I was growing up. So that seems to be a newer.
Oh no, I never
Thing.
even heard of it until
No,
like
I-
maybe 10 years ago.
We grew up with it. St. Patty's Day was always wearing green and
Well, you're Irish.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
we did too. I mean,
Well, I knew
since
of
I
it.
was little. I knew I had to wear green on that day.
I knew of it, but
But why? Yeah,
never
like-
never did anything. Yeah, if you didn't wear green.
yeah, that was the thing. Nobody knew why.
Yeah, if you knew green, if you had to wear something green, right?
Well,
if
hell,
you
the
didn't, you had
Boston
to get
Bay-
a smack or
You get
In
pinched-
Boston,
you
they
get
turned the
pinched.
entire they turned the little inlet
no,
green.
that's Chicago. They turned the
They,
river.
they did
river
it this
green.
year again. They weren't going to do it.
This is Chicago. It's not Boston.
No, it's Chicago.
Chicago, they turned the river green.
Oh no shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go figure.
Yeah,
Figured
and
it'd be in Boston of all
and all the
places.
fish die.
Do they? I don't
No.
think so.
They don't die.
I'm
Anyway.
surprised PETA hasn't yelled at them yet.
I know. So I had to explain to my boys. I mean, it was a while ago. I mean, they're they weren't that little, but I had to explain to them the difference between Veterans Day and Memorial Day. I mean, like they don't even think about that stuff. They don't. No one tells them. No one talks about it. They just kind of like,
well, I mean, Memorial
okay,
Day
we
is
don't
more.
we
of
don't have to go
people
to
that have
school.
Passed.
Right. We don't have to go to school. That's all they know. Right. I mean, there's a lot of stuff like that. We just take for granted. We don't care to know kind of the history or
And
the
you know
meaning.
what? Some of these holidays are disappearing. Like they have like presidents. I don't know which ones are disappearing, which not. But I mean, we used to have like Abraham Lincoln Day. They used to have like Washington.
Well, they converged those into President's Day.
Yeah, well,
I think.
the President's Day existed also along with all those other days.
I think I remember that too. Going through school, going.
But they started
it's
slowly but
Washington
surely
Day.
taking them all away,
Right.
and then now with this whole woke program, that they're like stripping away, like take away. I mean, really, they're taking away all the holidays. I mean,
Right.
fuck it, just take them all then.
Well, now it's
You
down
know?
to President's Day and Trump Day, right?
Trump Day.
Shit.
What day is that?
I celebrate Trump month. Is that wrong?
No. I think it should be President's Day, and then Trump Day should be the rest of the year. You have the rest of the year.
I mean, they didn't change Martin Luther
Bastards.
King Day or any day like that, right?
No.
No.
I don't think so. I don't think that's changed.
That's January. In January, right? We just had it.
Yeah, it's in January.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah,
Not all companies have that off, though.
and I tell you what, who has a lot of holidays is Canada. A lot of, I get the day off holidays. Canada.
Yeah.
Ton.
Or India, too, because they have a million festivals.
They have, well, I don't know about India, but I know Canada. They have like Family Day where you just
I mean,
get
don't
off
you?
to spend
You
the
have
day.
an offshore team that you talk
I don't
to
work
in
with
India.
them. I don't work with them.
See, I do every morning, and yeah, it seems like they're like, oh, we're off Friday, we're off, we're off this, we're off that. I think it's cool though. I mean, they have, they have a ton of festivals. They have like 1,000 gods, right? No, I'm being
1,000.
serious. They literally have like 1,000 gods in the Hindu
What?
religion.
Well, hey, look,
Look at all those holidays.
I don't.
How many in
think that's-
January alone? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Well, they
There's nothing wrong with that.
Do they get the day off every time? I mean, they don't always get
Not
the
all
day
of them,
off.
but they get a lot of them off. They get
But
like
I still
they have
think that
12, I believe.
I think we should have more days off. They're like in the European, like in Germany, for example. Those folks, they get off. They have a lot of vacation time. The United States citizens, the United States themselves, we're the ones that are beating down the rest of the labor in the world. We're the ones that work our asses off.
We work harder by far than any other country in the world.
Yeah.
And we're a superpower,
And we're
right?
quickly not becoming.
Well, I mean,
one.
I think that's one of the reasons, though.
I think
one of the
you're right.
reasons that we succeed is the work ethic and the expectations.
Yeah.
Or you could say, I'm going to work 4 hours a day, 4 days a week.
Well, that's what I do.
Yeah. Well, then you're not going to be as productive. Shit's not going to get done.
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
So there's a reason why the U.S. is successful.
God, and then they have they get to take 3 months off for paternity leave.
Yeah.
I mean, 3 months.
Well, you do here 12 weeks.
Not paternity, not the man.
Oh, paternity. No.
Yeah.
You're correct.
Yeah.
I believe there is a paternity leave now, though.
There's a push for it. I know that.
I thought it was in the Obama.
Yeah, after my kids are grown.
Yeah, no. I think it should be proactive. I
Retroactive.
had 2 kids.
Oh,
I get
my
6 months. Or
reparations.
retroactive. Yeah.
Retroactive.
I get 6 months off. I had 2 kids.
I have 4.
So you'd get
Child
like the entire
reparations.
year off. I'll take the year off.
Yeah.
Child reparations. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, no
Right.
kidding. All right, well, you were gonna tell a story.
Yeah, hold on. We'll get to that in a minute. Well, I mean,
Ah.
St. Patty's Day just ended, right? So what's the
did.
next big one?
That was yesterday.
Easter, I believe, right?
Is it Easter?
Easter, yeah.
It's coming up. Yep.
That's a big one.
Yeah. Well, it's just kind of a weird one.
Because it moves. It's not the same day
that
every year.
too, but
Mm.
moreover, for me, it's just kind of weird because it's all. I don't go to church anymore. I'd like to get more. We need to start back up a Bible study.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we need to get that ball
I can
rolling
take the
again.
lead on that.
Well, with that being said, that would seem to be like the thing to do. I mean, we would go Easter. You'd go to church. Easter morning, first of all, I don't know about you guys. We woke up with Easter baskets, right?
Of course. Yeah.
Yes.
Lots of candy.
And
Sometimes little gifts.
egg hunt.
Easter egg hunts for
Yeah.
fun.
I don't remember
know?
ever doing an egg hunt. Doesn't mean I didn't do it. I don't remember doing
Oh,
it.
we did
Well,
a
I mean,
lot.
you didn't have a large community one or something like
Not-
that.
Again, when I was very young, maybe, but I don't remember doing it.
Oh,
going to
man.
one.
We just had one in our backyard. Like
Oh,
we
we
didn't do a
had-
community one.
We had we lived in military communities, and we'd have some events that were
Oh,
happening.
pretty
and
tight knit. Yeah, you guys were all tight knit.
It was cool. I enjoyed it. We did growing up with the kids, we gave them their own Easter egg hunt. We would have the little plastic eggs, and we
Mhm.
put little chocolates in there,
Right.
and sometimes put money. And we put, they'd be like, they got a bunch of kids. I think that's kind of cool.
Would anyone get more than the other? And then there'd be
Oh, yeah.
fights, and you had to like
Whatever.
be communists and like split it up.
There were so many eggs because we have a large extended family. So when there's a function like we're going to go over to my wife's parents' house, I mean we're talking like 15 kids. So you have to get a couple hundred eggs.
Right.
That's all.
No, you get 15 eggs.
Yeah.
Right.
But at the same time, I think we limited the amount of eggs. I think it was like, you can grab 15 or whatever. I think
That
that's what
has
it was.
to be.
I remember when my two boys were young. Brandon was probably 3 or 4, and Steven, he had just started walking. And Frisco used to have, they may still do it, have Easter egg hunts.
Mhm.
And it used to be down at, was it Warren Fields?
Friendship Park? No.
No, it's Warren, where all the football fields and the softball and the soccer fields are. And I remember we did it 1 year. And after that, we were like, never again.
Warren, hold on. Is that?
It's down El Dorado. It was, all they did is, there weren't even eggs. They dumped candy in the outfield of one of the baseball
fields?
diamonds.
Yeah.
And there's probably 200 kids
Oh no.
in this thing, and parents, because this field was for 2 to 4 year olds. This field was for whatever.
Oh,
And Frisco is just a huge hive of small kids. At least it was back then.
So it's like a bloodbath.
It was ridiculous. And of course, my little 3-year-old at the time, and my one who was just barely walking, they go stumbling out there, and it was just like a mad rush, and it was crazy. They got a couple of their candies and stuff like that, but it was like, I'm not doing this again. The kids started crying because they were fighting over the candy, and you get these kids diving for candy when your kid's going to bend it down, and someone's coming by to snatch it up and stuff like that. I'm just like, well, you got to learn. You got to be quicker, Brandon.
Yeah. Yeah, so they grow up.
You
They
gotta
grow
go
up
quick.
hating Easter.
Yeah, no, but we only did it the one time, and I was like, I'm not doing that again.
Yeah.
I always have the comment that I don't know. Again, Frisco may have changed their mindset, but Frisco tried to remain a small town for too long. You can't be a small town when you're 100,000 people.
Yes.
You can't do some of the same things that you did when you had 25, because there was only 25,000 people when I moved into Frisco.
Because every event they try to do ends up.
Well,
Too many-
they try to do Easter egg hunts,
Too many people.
and there's
yeah.
300 kids, 200, 300 kids in this little infield, and then at least 1 or 2 adults. So you had like 1,000 people in this. It was ridiculous.
Right.
And the
Funny.
parents are out there trying to get the eggs for the kids because they want their kids to have the most.
See, I was running around pushing down the kids that had the most of them, and then just giving them to my kid.
Like kicking it, and it's just flying everywhere. So, but yeah, it's the kids, I guess they enjoyed it, but it was I was disappointed.
Yeah. No, I get it.
As long as the kids were happy, it was fine. But I didn't want to deal with it anymore.
What's sad, what we had to explain to our boys is like the point of Easter. Like nowadays, everybody's growing up. I mean, granted, if you're not a Christian, I get it, but even Christians aren't even like really truly understanding the point of Easter, right? I mean, that's like the biggest Christian holiday, the biggest Christian event, and they all they care about is the Easter bunny and eggs and Easter egg hunts, and I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, but when you look at the facts of what transpired, Jesus being put in a tomb and then checking the tomb 3 days later and he's like gone,
Resurrected. It is the
whoa.
single
But
biggest moment
resurrected,
in Christian.
but his body was gone,
That's correct.
so he was missing.
No, he's resurrected.
So some people say he was like on an acid trip for a couple days and passed out,
Oh, okay.
and then woke up.
And woke up with a bunch of babes around him.
Yeah,
Going, hubba, hubba.
Really? Wow. We're losing
hold
a
on.
lot of people right now.
I like the babes part, but no,
So he
but,
can't roll away the stone by himself.
Yeah, I get it, but forget about the acid stuff.
Or can he?
It's just
Actually,
With
he
a
can do
lever,
anything.
with a fulcrum?
I mean, when you
I didn't think about that.
when you
Physics.
think about that whole thing, is like, all right, well, we dressed him up. They put him in a special clothing with a little cloth shit they put on him.
Shroud.
The
Oh,
shroud.
yeah, no, it's a burial shroud. Yeah.
It's a
They
shroud
put him in there, and he just disappeared.
of
Right.
Turin.
Well, the shroud was still there.
Interesting.
Is that the shroud of Turin?
Yeah.
Supposedly?
Yeah, that's what they're claiming. Yeah.
Didn't they say that's fake?
There have been people
No.
that called it real and fake, real and fake,
Well,
real and fake.
it's
for
a real
centuries.
shroud, but it's not Jesus.
So the last one or the last time they did a study, they said they switched it again. No, it could be real, and they're basing it on the time period.
Are they carbon dating it?
There's no way.
Yeah.
If they
Say
carbon
that's
date
real.
it 6 times, you
It's
get 6 different
ridiculous.
dates.
Because it's such a subjective test.
Well, then they could do a special on History Channel about it again.
They have done that.
I know.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Well, we're going to do it again.
Right?
Al Capone's vault. Geraldo.
And there's just a glass. I mean, a bottle.
Bottle
And
full.
shoe.
Both.
Evan Williams White.
See, that's a nightmare. Anyway,
Yeah. Well, anyway, so he disappears, and
are you really wanting to rehash the story of
he
Jesus here?
resurrects. I mean, was that? Yeah.
Resurrected,
So you know,
yes.
then they celebrate that.
It's huge. Yes,
Yeah.
he beat death. Yes, that's the biggest event in Christianity. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
we did go to church.
But that's the whole point. Nobody associates Easter with that being the biggest event in the Christian faith.
They
What about?
don't.
I thought Christmas was.
I mean, it's the birth of Jesus. Yeah.
Yeah, but they have like huge mass
Of course,
and everything.
of
So the
course.
mass, the fact that's the only time people go to church. A lot of people only go to church for Christmas and
Those
Easter.
are
Easter.
submarine Catholics. Submarine Catholics. They
Right.
come up twice a year.
Submarine Catholics.
Yeah, submarine Catholics.
That's funny. I've never heard that. No, but you're right. You're absolutely right. Christmas and Easter seem to be like, if you don't go all year, you kind of have to go to those. And you know what's funny? For our family, we go like not every Sunday, but we would go during the year and not go at Christmas and Easter. And it was always because we went down to Houston, and my father-in-law is not a Christian, and it never worked into the routine. You know what I'm saying? We go down to Houston. There's a whole different routine that goes on, and it never involved church.
Oh, they
tell
don't
you,
serve
Chris-
rum in church.
Rum and Coke. I tell you what,
Right,
Christmas
right.
at church,
Diet Coke.
it is chaotic, and you have to get there way. It's like a
Oh,
concert.
yeah.
You have to get there way.
Oh, yeah.
It's
in
so
advance.
packed, and I
Yeah.
tell you what, it's uncomfortable. It's always warm. You know,
Yeah. And you're in a suit.
Yes.
I remember.
You're dressed
I-
really nice.
I remember being in Indonesia, and I mean, my dad was a devout Catholic. Like, we knew you're going every Sunday, and sure as hell going on Easter and Easter and Christmas. Anyway, so we go to I forget if it was Easter or Christmas, but we didn't get in, and they had the big
Right,
cathedrals, right?
right.
Nice old stained glass, it's beautiful, right? Well, we couldn't even get in, right? I mean, it was so packed. So we're outside. And when I say outside, we're not like in a courtyard in another inner building.
You're like on the stairs.
We're literally outside the building, sitting down around on the rocks out next to the trees and
Did
stuff.
they have speakers where you could hear?
No, God, no. Right? And so, yeah, that's what I was kind of like. So we're leaving, right? Like, I'm a little kid. I don't want to be there anyway, right?
Right.
But no, we stood outside,
Until-
seeing nothing, hearing nothing. But my dad was like, nope, we're going to mass. Is what we're doing. And I was like, what are we doing here? You know, as a
Right.
little kid, I was like, this is dumb, Dad. Anyway.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
now,
I
well,
think
now
we started to complain. And finally, I think my dad gave in.
screw it.
Yeah. I hate you kids. I wish I never had you.
Let's go eat meat.
Oh my God, your dad said that?
No, he never said that. He probably thought it that night. But
Yeah. Well, now they have.
no, you're allowed to eat meat during Lent. You can't eat meat on Fridays.
Hold on, I thought
But
that was
can you,
you volunteered
No, on
that.
Easter it's shrimp. You have to eat shrimp.
On actual Easter Day.
Yes.
I think you can eat meat. No, you can eat meat on Easter Day.
I thought you could eat, yeah,
Langoustines.
because you eat Easter ham.
Yeah, you can eat meat on Easter Day
I
because
know.
he's resurrected. Because
That whole thing is stupid.
no, well, you have to understand it. There's so many things in the Catholic faith that people just don't understand.
Like a 4-leaf clover, right?
Well, the whole point is that you're
Rumpelstiltskin.
you on Fridays you're sacrificing just like Jesus had to sacrifice.
Why does it have to be Friday? Can
Because
it be any day of the week?
because I think it culminates with Good Friday.
Well, yeah, but what if you're like at a dinner that all they have is a steak,
You start.
and you're like, well, I'm going to do it tomorrow.
You
instead.
fast.
You start. You know what, God? Please forgive me, but I'm going
Right.
to eat this steak tonight, and I won't eat it tomorrow.
I'll have fish tomorrow.
That's not the way it's supposed to
It's
work.
one day a week, right?
It's
Well,
Fridays during Lent. Yeah.
I'm sure he would. He'd look at the Pasco. He'd be like, come on. All right.
I mean, even
you go ahead,
McDonald's
let's
has a
do it.
McFish. So you can.
They what?
No.
McDonald's has a mixed fish.
Good Lord.
They have a McFish for Easter?
No, just in general.
Is it shaped like an Easter egg?
No, it's a square.
It's square, natural,
Oh,
shape
natural.
of fish.
It's American cod.
It is. It's actually.
It's not bad.
I worked at McDonald's, and it's actually real fish. Believe it or not.
And it's actually good.
Is it tilapia?
No, it's cod.
Cod.
Cod, huh?
Cod.
It's cod.
Yeah, it may look weird,
It looks
but
disgusting.
it's actually not too bad.
It's
for-
a fish
for-
patty.
For
Did you guys ever?
well, no, it's an actual fillet.
All right. Did you guys ever grow up eating fish sticks?
Oh yeah,
I loved them. I
that's
still love
minced.
them. I
Minced
mean, we don't
fish.
eat them anymore, but
Minced?
I love fish sticks.
Minced.
Huh. What is
minced.
that?
Minced.
Minced means it's ground up and then formed into a stick.
Oh, isn't that what they did with?
You make it sound gross. Just stop.
Well, it's real though, isn't it?
Did they do
I
that with
love
like the
fish
chicken nuggets too? They would grind up a
Yeah,
bunch of
it's
chicken.
it's kind of like a
comes out of
chicken
this pink paste.
chicken paste.
Oh,
But
what
I
was
st-
that? Remember that pink slime?
Well, that was pink slime. But I
God,
remember
that was
there
a
was a
big deal.
documentary. They
The
went to
McDonald's
they
pink
went they
slime.
went to McDonald's chicken McNugget factory, and they were saying, yeah, there's rumors that there's not real chicken in there, and they went through the entire process on how they make it, and it was 100% chicken.
Yeah.
And it
Way
was
to go,
just-
McDonald's.
It was just how they process it. I mean, they boil it, they grind the shit out of it.
Look at
and-
that!
and
Look
then
at
they
that pink
form it.
slime. It's coming out like a soft serve.
Yeah, that's
what,
nasty.
What was the scandal behind the whole pink slime thing?
Well, it's mixed in with your hamburger, or like if you go to
yeah,
some
but
of these
then they
fast
determined
food.
that it was like not a big deal.
Look at that.
I don't know.
Ronald McDonald throwing up the pink slime. But what was the deal? Why
Well,
was it a big deal?
Well, it's. I think there's chemicals in it, right?
But what was in the slime?
It's meat byproduct and I think chemicals.
It ended up not being a big deal, if I
So
remember
it's kind of like
I don't remember.
Bologna, right?
No, it's not bologna. I don't know exactly what was. That was so long ago. So long ago.
All right. So I guess the next question is, what is in McDonald's pink slime?
Well, it's not necessarily McDonald's. Just go. What is
No,
it?
it wasn't just a McDonald's thing.
Yeah.
if I remember
What is
correctly.
in pink slime?
Or just what is
Yeah.
pink slime?
Ammonium hydroxide.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's
Celebrity
chemicals.
chef Jamie Oliver. Something. Can't read it.
Pink
Raised
slime is
public
in-
awareness and gross people out. It's funny.
Pink slime is a meat byproduct used as a food additive to ground beef and beef-based processed meats as filler.
As a filler. Okay.
That's what I said. They mix it.
Yeah, just to give it more substance.
Yeah, so they can use 3/4 pounds of real meat and use 1/4 pound of pink slime.
So they decided to stop doing that.
I don't know.
Wow. I guess ammonia hydroxide is bad for you.
Sounds bad.
Sure does. Kind of gross.
You know,
Yeah.
I've taken to grinding my own hamburger.
Are you for real?
No, oh yes, I am. When the big Nolan Ryan chuck roasts go on sale for $2.50 a pound, I'll buy a couple, trim them up. I could make it however.
So it's a big roast. It's
It's a big roast. Cube it.
slab of meat.
I have a meat grinder downstairs, and I just grind it, and it's 100% fresh. I know where it comes from. All that
Huh.
shit. Because ground beef is where you're going to get E. coli because it has the most surface area.
That's right. I definitely knew that. So you want to make sure it's cooked the most.
And I know what's in it. It's not got any of that shit in it, and it's good, and I can control how much fat's in it.
When did he become such an elitist? I grind my own hamburger from chuck roast.
Well, I mean, when did you get that grinder?
Oh shit!
I got it for Christmas last year.
Yeah, so it's just
Yeah,
recently.
yeah, it's not
So you
something
become
I've been-
elitist just recently.
I am.
Yeah, it's
I'm better
it's
than
a
you.
process.
Yeah, a hamburger snob.
I am.
Well,
But
it's
we
cool
do it-
though. And I was over here with him. I was like, oh, that's cool. Imagine shoving the meat in there and watching it come out the other end. It's all nasty. And
I have visions of doing sausage, but I need a better setup than what I have now. I've made Italian sausage. I grind pork butts, and I'll make Italian sausage and shit like that.
Well, how come you don't share any of this shit with me? What the hell's going on?
I don't share
here?
it with anyone.
yeah, it does. It's a non-existing tier.
Yeah.
Are you in that tier?
No,
Oh, good.
No.
So I'm not alone on this one.
no, I've never had it.
Can-
He
how-
came over and grinded his
how-
own one time.
How do we get into this tier of you making sausage and shit for us and sharing?
Well, I make Italian sausage because Julie wants it because she uses it in spaghetti sauce. and all
everybody
kinds of
loves
stuff.
Italian sausage.
Yeah, so I make my.
Sean and I both like Italian sausage.
What I've learned though is I need to add fat because a pork butt doesn't have enough fat in it.
Well, yeah, they put a lot of fat in sausage on
Yeah,
purpose.
it's sausage is Yeah, you have to add a lot of fat to sausage to make it good.
To make it yummy. Well,
It-
you have to add fat to anything to make it yummy, really.
Well,
Like,
true.
think about it. Like
True.
certain cuts of meat.
Fat is flavor.
Yeah, fat is flavor.
Yeah,
But it makes you fat. You need to go work out.
yeah. I
You
do
know
need
what?
to work out.
You just we do need to go work out. When you just got your surgery. So what
Well, I go back to the doctor on.
what was the
Monday.
surgery? Tell the folks what you got your surgery.
Well, according to you, I had penile implant.
We saw the picture of it.
Yeah, we definitely saw a picture.
Again, he downloaded it and sent it to everyone, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
I deleted that thing too.
Yeah,
man.
my wife, he goes, you want to see what Sean and Paul sent?
Okay, no.
I'm
Sean
still
and Paul, really?
stoned out of my head.
And Paul, really? Where did the and Paul come from?
Jeff's like, is that a penis? Because he's Barney Rubble, you know.
Yes. But no, I had rotator cuff surgery on last Wednesday, a week ago. Well,
Yeah.
But it was not. So I heard it was not a partial, not a full tear.
Wasn't a full tear, it was
That's
partial.
fantastic.
So they did the patch therapy, which I don't know.
So this is a common thing that men and women get, or is it to miss men, or what?
It could happen to anyone.
No. It's both. But I for some reason I think it's more men. But
Because a lot of it has to do with repetitive motion, or if you fall from a distance, like on the basketball court,
Oh,
or old sports injuries and shit like that.
repetitive movement,
but you have to imagine that like
whacking it.
Yes. and
Wow.
If you like use the entire shoulder. I
Well, that's
guess
very-
Like you're really throwing
Hold on.
down.
Yeah, if you're really
that's
going
very
down.
aggressive.
Oh, so you're whacking off a horse.
Yeah.
Is that what you're doing?
That technique is very aggressive.
If your shoulder's way into it, then
Yeah.
it's,
Lord.
it's
So
a
if
violent
I were
act.
to tear my rotator cuff,
Doctor's like, so what'd you do to tear it?
yeah.
Well, you know.
Yeah.
Do you really want to know?
Yeah.
You want me to show you?
His name is Roger. He's outside. I rode him here.
Oh, what the hell's wrong with you?
What do you mean me? He's his horse.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, but I would think fast pitch softball, like the girls,
Oh yeah.
I would think that would destroy their shoulders when they're older.
Yeah.
But you really you don't hear about women getting rotator cuff surgery, but I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do.
I'm sure they do.
They have to.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe the ones that work out. I think that the majority of men have a tendency to lift heavier things than women do.
There you
Oh,
go.
that's true. That's true too.
So if you were to have you've had your surgery, so on, how normal was your surgery? Did the doctor say everything went well?
Yeah, he said everything went great. I had bone spurs in there, which was my problem. And with the bone spurs were caused from a lot of heavy weightlifting when I was through high school and college. And he also ground down my clavicle joint,
Ooh.
which is right here.
Yeah, you
because
where
there
you
are some
collarbone.
there are some
collarbone.
there is some arthritis there. He said he calls it. We call it the airplane wing strut. You know those angles.
Right.
He goes, it's not really a joint, but they touch and they rub. So they ground down. He goes, yeah, I ground down 10 millimeters of your bone.
10 millimeters. That's a centimeter.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
of your bone to get rid of the arthritis. So that'll help with the pain.
But the most of your pain came from the bone spurs.
Yeah, the bone spurs was when I lifted my arm up. It was snagging one of the tendons and ripping it.
Oh, good.
So it got to the point where I was ripping enough where it became a problem and got extremely painful.
Yeah.
And there's 4 tendons that make up your cuff.
Right.
So it was picking on one of them. I think it was one of the middle ones. It ripped it. I don't know. It wasn't quite halfway. It was enough to where they were able to use. I guess there's a new technology out there, or I don't know how new it is, but a patch, and they lay this patch over it, and it all grows back together, and it's very effective and
nice.
and quicker recovery, not as painful.
Wow.
That sort of thing. So
these spurs, they can just basically grow anywhere.
with bone spurs, yeah.
Yeah.
And I had
What
mine.
So it's
causes
basically
those?
what? It's rough edges.
Well,
is it separated pieces of the bone, like
no,
little tiny pieces?
it's like your
or
bone.
it's rough edges.
It's like your bone grows, right? So there's spurs
little
that grow out.
calcium
okay.
overgrowth.
So like little
Calcium.
hooks on the edges
Right.
of your bones.
So I
Okay.
had it in my shoulder, and like I said, it was every time I'd raise my arm up, it would snag that tendon and cut it.
or nerves, or
Right.
just any tissue. It'll depending on where your bone spurs are. You can get bone spurs anywhere in your body.
Yeah, you can. So that's what they
Interesting.
did, and they went down and looked at the bicep. My bicep was good.
Good.
That's where the heavy recovery is.
Imagine,
I
you
know.
know, just you saying that out loud, that they went down and looked at your bicep. It's crazy how those orthoscopic
yeah.
procedures, they could just stick that little thing in there, and
Well, I have 8 incisions on my shoulder. They're
so
about a half
they went
inch
into
big.
their shoulder, and they're like, "Yeah, we took a look at your hemorrhoids. You're okay."
Yeah, pull up rotator cuff surgery and look at some of the pictures. There's at least the ones I looked at where they have these rods sticking in your shoulder, and there's one big plastic tube sticking in there. I don't know what they're for, but well, that's not a real good one.
Yeah. There's a tube that they slide a camera
Yeah,
through.
see that? Click on that one right in the middle. That one there.
Yep.
See that big plastic thing right there? I have no idea what that is.
It's probably to suck out, blood and stuff as
Could
they're trimming back tissue and stuff.
But you could see they've got one hole there. They got another hole up there with the thread, and I have 8 holes or 8 incisions in my shoulder.
It's crazy.
And they went in there, and I don't know how far down the arm they go, or if it was just the bleeding internally. But I have a bruise that goes down my arm. It looks like. And it leads me to believe, did they jam the scope all the way down there?
Oh, I'm sure.
No.
They just went right through.
No, that's just
everything.
The swelling, right? The blood. I mean,
That's what I think. I think maybe it's
it just
the
drains
blood.
down into the arm with gravity.
But it looks like I've got a huge, nasty bruise. I've showed you the pictures of that.
Yeah, no, I had the same thing, both shoulders.
But they went down and looked, and my bicep was fine, thank goodness, because that's when you get into the big, nasty brace where you're
Good Lord.
with the all that shit. So yeah, good fun.
So how did the day work? So you showed up at the hospital.
Yeah, I woke up at 4:30.
4:30
in the morning. I was the first one.
Do a shot.
Yeah, I got up and did a shot of Rebel Yell.
Yeah, great idea.
No, I got up, showered, because I was like, this is gonna be my last shower for about a week. So I showered, shaved,
Lovely.
and tried to shit. Couldn't quite get one out because I didn't want to try to deal with that with my arm all screwed up. Didn't happen, but went to the hospital, checked in, got back pretty quick, and then they knocked my ass out. I remember they wheeled me back to a pre-op section, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she shaved my area up here. She goes, "This will help with the tape," and being 50,
They had to shave your shoulder.
yeah,
Yeah, I didn't have to do that in either of my surgeries.
yeah.
I
So
didn't have to shave my shoulder.
she shaved that, and the anesthesiologist comes in, and he gave a nerve block.
Yep.
And so he came in and he marked on my neck where everything was, and he signed it and everything. And then they wheeled me back into they have to sign. Every doctor has to sign where they're gonna do surgery.
Yeah, I mean, how many times have you heard them removing the wrong leg or operating on the wrong shoulder? Or
they asked me
it's
about
ridiculous how often that happens.
They asked me about
now.
Yep, they asked you about a dozen times.
You have no penis. You're like, oh,
yeah,
right.
They asked me about a dozen
wrong.
times. What are we doing to you? Even the anesthesia goes, "What am I doing to you?" And I was like, "You give me a nerve block on my left side for surgery." He goes, "Correct," and he did it. And the surgeon came in. He asked me the same thing. "What am I doing to you?"
Yeah.
And I had to read back to him what I was doing. He goes, "Correct," and he drew things on. He goes, "I'm signing it." So on the left side.
Yeah,
and
it's amazing why they had to get to this point.
Yeah. So then they wheeled me back into the operating room, and I remember sitting there looking at the operating room. I was like, I'd never been in one before, and I was just looking around, and they didn't say anything. They didn't say, "All right, we're pushing the
you were
happy
awake?
juice." I was awake when they wheeled me back.
Yeah.
And I was, like I said, I was
You were
looking
awake when they wheeled you back. Were you awake during the procedure?
No.
Oh God, no.
Okay.
No. That's what I was saying. I was like, they wheeled me back. I was looking around for maybe 20 seconds, and the next thing I knew, I was waking up.
Yep, it's amazing.
They didn't say anything.
I know.
They didn't say, "All right, count back from 100." I don't know. Maybe that's just TV where they do stupid shit like that.
Right.
But they just did it.
And you're out.
Because I had the IV in, and they just push it, and you're boom out like that.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and it feels like it's instantaneous. And it was a 3-hour surgery.
That is probably the craziest part of it. Is like not knowing when you fell asleep, but it was instantaneous.
Yeah.
And then your eyes flutter open, and there's a doctor standing in front of you, and they're giving you feedback on how the surgery went.
Yeah, I don't remember him.
It's instantaneous. It's
Yep,
the craziest
It
thing.
is. It's like that. And I don't remember him talking to me. I remember the nurse. She was right there and taking care of me. And I was in the sling and all bandaged up and ice on there and everything. And what was weird is I was in the same pre-op area, except on the other side of the room, which I guess maybe is post-op.
Right.
So I looked over, I was like, I was just there. I was just there.
Right.
It seems like a minute ago.
Right. They
wheeled me from
transported
there into there, and now I'm sitting across from it, and I don't, it was strange. So
Yeah, I remember waking up. This was my first surgery on my right shoulder, and my eyes fluttered open, and this guy was standing there. It wasn't the doctor. It was like I don't know,
Stripper?
It might have been the anesthesiologist. He goes,
it was a
The
prostitute.
first thing he says to me, nobody else is there, just him. He goes, "Congratulations." He goes, "The doctor said that he's never seen a tear that bad in a man your age." And I was like, I just was looking at him because I couldn't really even talk. You know what I
Right.
mean? I just kind of mumbled something, but I was
Right.
looking at him like, who are you? Where am I? Like,
Well, there's confusion when you first wake
total
up.
confusion.
You're just like, what the hell?
That's what he said, though. The worst tear he's ever seen.
You know the worst part that I had to deal with, because I was numb on the left side.
Yeah.
That nerve block. Plus, they have you pumped up with morphine or whatever it is
Oh,
when
yeah.
you first come out of it. The worst part was the frickin' throat. They jam those tubes down your throat,
Yeah.
and it's terrible.
Yeah, it makes your throat all sore and raspy.
Oh, it was terrible. And when I came home, I was like, my shoulder's not bothering me because, again, all the drugs.
Correct.
But my throat I was just like, this is what's going to keep me up at night, is my frickin' throat.
No shit.
And but I ended up sleeping half on, half off, half ass for the next couple nights. But
Well, and then because it starts to wear off, the block starts to wear off, and you have to time it to when you start taking the hydrocodone.
I only took it the day of surgery.
Oh, really?
That's
Oh,
it.
shit.
Percocet. I took Percocet on that Wednesday, and I didn't take it.
I think I
after
took it
that.
for 3 days,
I didn't.
but maybe. Oh, yeah, you're tougher than I am.
Puss.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
No, I had-
those pills. The
I had full
medicine doesn't really
tears.
help, in my opinion. It just makes you. It doesn't. You still feel the pain. You're just fucked.
well, the
you're
nerve block.
under the influence.
Well, the nerve block I think worked really good on me.
oh
yeah.
well, yeah. Well, you can't feel anything with a nerve block.
So the nerve block. So if you ever get your shoulders fixed, they say, "Do you want a nerve block?" Say yes.
I declined it.
Why?
I just didn't want to deal with not being able to. So did I have it for the first one, and I didn't like it? So I told him on the second
There
one.
are side
"Don't do it."
effects. There are issues that I had.
Yeah.
I know. So Wednesday it was good. Thursday, I started having problems breathing, because what it does is it
Mhm.
paralyzes your diaphragm.
Yes.
It paralyzes half of your diaphragm, and
I was furious about how the nerve block made me feel. Yes,
Yeah.
I hated it.
so it didn't make me feel bad except for the breathing. And there's 2 nerve blocks that he gave. He goes, one that works immediately, that will wear off, and he goes, you may start feeling pain. And that's why I started taking the Percocet,
Yeah.
because one wore off. He goes, the other one takes about 24 hours to start working.
Right.
So that was Thursday when the second one started kicking. He goes, that one will last about 2 or 3 days.
Right.
So was a part of your shoulder like numb?
It was
I mean,
numb.
Completely numb.
So you come home,
I was touching it. and
you're
I-
already done.
Like you couldn't even feel your fingers, right? It went all the way down your arm, didn't it?
No, I could feel my fingers.
Oh, really? Okay.
So after you got home, and they had the time released one, I guess that happens 24 hours later.
Yeah.
You're touching yourself. Hold on, let me rephrase that. You're touching your neck. You're touching the areas around there. I mean, I guess, and you can't feel it. It's all numb still.
Yep.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. My wife was putting ice directly on it,
And you
and I couldn't
it.
feel anything. Couldn't feel the cold. If you put ice on for a long time,
Oh,
it
yeah, it
hurts.
hurts.
It hurts. I couldn't feel it.
So I had a procedure done on my lower foot and my heel. Basically, I had stepped on something and it got shoved up into my heel, and they ended up giving me a spinal block. Is that what it's called? Spinal block?
It's an epidural, right?
An epidural.
Yeah, epidural.
So
yeah.
I ended up.
You were pregnant.
I had
Yeah.
they rolled me. I rolled into the fetal position,
transgender.
and
Yes.
they had inserted something in the spine to numb it. But it was kind of weird though, because I remember waking up in the post op, I guess is what it's called, And it was the same thing because I didn't remember anything.
So they put you under with an epidural because of a splinter in your foot?
Yeah, there was more than a splinter. There was something else.
A little thumbtack.
Yeah, it was. Well, it looked like a screw, is what it looked like. It looked like something out
Like
of
a big
a little
3-inch screw,
No, it was like if you had a small electronics device,
like a railroad
and
spike.
it was take out like a 1/4-inch screw, whatever. It was in there good, and it had a bunch of scar tissue that built all over it. So I had jumped up and landed on the ground and stepped on it wrong.
You
It was
broken
fucked
up,
How
opened the
did that
sack.
not hurt like hell when it first happened?
It did hurt like hell when it first happened, but
Why'd
I
you
didn't
dig it out?
because
Well, you didn't know anything was up there.
I thought it was in and out. I thought I had stepped on something, and this was on my heel. Your heel is extremely thick,
Resilient.
Yeah.
and I didn't feel anything, but it had gone so far up there. It was like a keister. It was keistered. It was like
Just keistered in your, just like
Keistered to
sucked
my
right
heel.
in there.
Yeah.
So I was going to tell you guys about the whole story, but I'm not. I'll tell you about the post-op part. So they give you you were talking about how it makes you numb.
Right.
Well, when they give you the epidural, God, it's the same thing. So you're numb, and the
Yeah.
doctor's like, "Well, you can't eat until you pee," and for some reason, so I was like trying to pee, so I got the little urinal.
Bed urinal.
They got the bed urinal, but it's not like a bedpan. It's
It's a mobile urinal.
It's like a mobile travel
yeah,
urinal.
the stuff you wear in the
It
car.
is. I need to buy. I need to get one of those.
He used a Ozarka
water
bottle.
Yeah, I had to cut the top off.
A soccer bottle.
So I'm reaching down, and you grab your junk, and first of all, to grab your junk when
Yeah.
you're numb is
Dangerous?
you have to double check because you kind of like it doesn't feel like it's yours.
Right.
You're touching somebody else's junk. you know?
Oh,
So,
wow.
it's
that's-
weird.
Yeah.
And then
So how did you know it felt like you were touching somebody else's junk? Like you had
You've
experience?
done that before.
So you've done that before?
well because I
Or-
see myself
Uh-huh.
touching a penis,
Uh-huh.
and I can't feel my
Yeah.
penis being touched.
Like before.
it was odd. No, there's no before.
Like the other time when it wasn't
no,
yours.
there was no other times. It was just this one
So
time.
you're
Oh,
like
okay.
helicoptering it. You're like, I can't even feel that.
Like before.
You
like
know,
like a lasso.
it was
Yeah.
it was really odd. So I'm peeing in this little pontoon.
The
What
Doppler
the
effect.
hell,
That was
man?
a
That's a
Doppler
helicopter.
effect.
What kind of helicopter are you doing, man?
That's a Huey.
I'm coming in, Shelly. So I'm peeing into this thing, and I fill it up.
With
Oh.
urine
It starts to overflow.
Uh-oh.
or ejaculate.
He's urinating.
Oh.
What the hell? What kind of
I
frothy
thought you were going-
ejaculate are
Yeah,
you
no
dreaming about over
shit.
there?
He's like some sort of horse or something.
What's going on over there? That's
Well,
just
he was
kinda-
talking
God.
about Roger the horse earlier.
Doc, I'm overflowing it here.
What do I do?
Ow.
What do I do?
Stop touching it. Stop touching it, man.
He
So
was
the
18.
whole thing was
He had
weird.
the stamina
Yeah,
back then.
there you go.
It
I
sucked
can't
too,
stop. I can't feel
because
it.
because the
It
guy
just
that
keeps
was sitting
going.
next to me
Daddy
in
God, it's
surgery,
Going everywhere.
he went in first, and he had something done to his knee, and so he was already in the surgery recovery room, and then I was wheeled in afterwards, and so I'm hungry, and I'm like, well, you got to pee before we'll feed you. So I'm trying to pee. If they got those little curtains you pull around the bed.
Yeah.
Well, I had pulled the curtain, or had them pull the curtain almost all around the whole bed.
Right.
But the neighbor, he started having guests,
Oh.
and my dick is out,
Oh.
and I'm peeing in this thing, and there's like women just like showing up over there, and
Were they
pee
hot?
is all over the floor.
Were they hot?
Oh.
Were they good looking?
I don't even remember.
Were they looking at you?
It was very embarrassing. And then
Did you ask for help?
Well, the nurse did come
Excuse
in,
me,
and
ma'am.
this rather large
Can you
woman
help me?
came in and helped me and cleaned me up, and it was quite embarrassing. And I was like, you know what? Sorry.
Did they ever see you?
Who's they?
The guests.
Yeah, absolutely, they saw me. They were the ones that got the nurse.
With your
Oh,
peen all hanging
no.
out.
Yeah, this guy's pissing all over the place over here.
Oh, so they're from New Jersey.
Yeah, well, I think this wasn't. No, this was not
Bunch
in
of
New
Joe
Jersey,
Pescis.
but
Jolene Pesci.
Jolene Pesci. We need a nurse over here. He's peeing
Yeah.
everywhere.
Look at that.
It's
He's
like
fondling him himself.
it's like a fire
It's got
hose.
touching himself. So
Gallons.
that wasn't really.
It's
God.
gallons and gallons.
It's everywhere.
God.
That just turned ugly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that really did. What a gross visual.
Mine was
So-
not quite so graphic.
Yeah, well, but they didn't make you pee before you ate,
I had to pee before I left.
Yeah,
So
but
I-
you weren't numb. That was
My
the
shoulder
weird part.
was.
Yeah, but your penis wasn't.
No, it was not.
Yeah.
That was the whole
That would've
weird
been
thing. There
weird.
was no.
Yeah, if you had woken up for shoulder surgery and you couldn't feel your penis.
But my point is
That
you'd
that
be
nerve
like,
block worked
you could-
really
what did you
good.
guys
you
do in
couldn't
there?
feel it. There, like that muscle that stops the pee
Oh, you
doesn't
couldn't-
work.
Yeah, you couldn't engage it.
So they were just like, so once I was pushing like everything I could to try to.
And you shit a little bit.
I don't think so.
Could you control those muscles?
I don't
Your
know.
sphincter.
I didn't feel. I don't think so. I didn't find any.
Doctor, I can't control my sphincter.
any brown tracks on there.
My God, man. I shit and piss myself.
God.
It was just so fucked up because I could not stop myself from peeing, and I was like a goddamn horse, man. It
You
just
must have been
kept
horrified,
peeing,
though.
and the thing filled up, and I'm watching it fill up, and you're kind of like,
Yeah,
You couldn't
this
turn
is
it
gonna
off.
get ugly really quick.
There's nothing you can
Now
do.
there was a sink in between the beds.
You dump some out.
So you're reaching over there while you're peeing, you're dumping it out and trying to
I
minimize the time?
the nurse did.
You could have pinched.
my
She
God.
like grabs my penis, and
Pinched it.
she did not grab my penis.
Did she put like a?
You wish.
No, she put
No,
a
I did
clamp
not.
on it.
I can't stop. Can you touch it?
She put it like a force of a clamp.
that should hurt. I can't feel it, but that should hurt.
Yeah. It should. My
Please-
penis is now 3 millimeters thick.
Please take that off. Take that off. Oh God, that was gross.
There's actually a lot more to that story, but we'll
Wasn't there a part where you had like a huge boner?
no.
You had a
No, You're
boner?
referring to the pre-op. So the guy that was going into surgery for his knee, he had when they were pulling his bed out, he was sitting in the bed, and this really beautiful nurse comes in, and she yanks the covers off the bed, and hey, let's go. And he was like, whoa.
The
All
neighbor,
right.
your neighbor,
Yeah, the guy sitting in the bed next to me.
and he's like, "You lucky bastard."
Well, I was like, oh man, she's beautiful.
Right.
Rock star. And so I take off my underwear.
It gets
You
erect.
liar.
He got erect. I
No,
know he
I
did.
did not get erect.
You're
Why would you,
18.
hold on. Why would you take your underwear off? Because you wanted that
Because
same experience by the same doctor.
when she
the same
comes in
nurse?
to get me to wheel me off into the operating room, she's gonna pull my blanket off, and I'm gonna be like,
Hey, baby.
"How you
And she's
doing?"
gonna be like,
How you
"Why?"
doing?
She's gonna be like, "Why are your pants off?"
Yeah, she's gonna be like, "You freaking perv. Put your underwear back on."
Yeah, that didn't go very well because there was a different nurse that came in. So.
It's a male nurse.
No, just
Did you try to scramble to put your underwear back on?
No, it was too late after that. Well, the nurse didn't go in there and yank the covers off. That was
Oh.
something that one nurse did, but I was hoping that she would come in and do that to me. But
You took off
so I
your
remember
underwear.
when that nurse came in, and I saw her, and I was like, oh my God. I grabbed the fucking blankets, the little sheet, and I
Like-
freaking tucked them really quick so she couldn't pull them off.
You
That was
seriously
funny, man.
took off your underwear so that the nurse would see your pee-pee. For real.
Were you hoping for
I
a
don't
little
know.
something to happen?
You know what?
You were.
Well,
Wow.
hey.
Hey, what's wrong with that?
I was young. I
That
was
was
Come
funny.
on.
That was Fonzie.
She was a pretty nurse. That is awful. That's an awful
Actually,
story.
no, of course not. I was not expecting anything. I thought it would just be funny.
Oh,
How funny would that have been?
Not really funny.
To show her
Not
your
for the nurse.
wad.
Yeah.
To go, look at that.
Yeah. I'm not impressed, honey. Is that what they said to you?
She probably would have. She would have said, "Put your shorts on,
Yeah.
That would have been funny.
Put your underwear back on.
Put your sock back on.
Junior."
Oh, God. Oh, that's horrible. Thanks for sharing.
Well, I wasn't going to, but you guys kind of pulled it out of me. But anyways, the whole epidural thing is really odd when you get out of the surgery, and it's especially weird when you're reaching down there and you're like, that
Were you
is
able to- were-
really weird. You're touching yourself and you're like,
Were you able to walk Were your legs numb or just
Yeah,
your
I couldn't
peen?
move them. They were
No, everything from the waist down.
yeah, you're
Yeah.
paralyzed.
Just like for a woman giving birth, right?
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
you're paralyzed. You're literally paralyzed. You can't move your feet. You can't move anything.
What
and
an awful feeling. I wouldn't want that.
I remember I was sitting there and I was like, "This is not happening." I was like, "Urgh!" I was doing everything that my brain could do to move, and nothing was moving, and it was freaking me out.
You're like, what if
And-
this is permanent?
Well, it did cross my mind.
imagine quadriplegics, man. That's what they live with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They live
Because
with
the brain
that.
still works. And they're thinking, all right, leg move. It doesn't happen.
I mean, God, I wouldn't wish that on anybody.
Did you hear what happened to Sean Bradley?
The basketball player.
The basketball
Mavericks player?
player? Yeah. Did you hear what happened to him?
No.
He is now a paraplegic.
How?
He was riding his bike up in Utah where he lives now.
A bicycle?
No, bike on the road, and a car came up behind him and plowed into him
When did this happen?
in February, I believe.
This just happened.
Yeah, it just happened.
I didn't hear anything about this.
How devastating.
7'6", paraplegic. Could you imagine? I mean, it doesn't matter what his size, but
Oh,
So
January
former Dallas
20th
Maverick
crash.
Sean Bradley is paralyzed after being hit by a vehicle while riding his bike near his Utah home in January. The retired player said on Wednesday, according to a statement stated by
48
former, the
years
accident
old.
resulted in a traumatic spinal cord injury that paralyzed him. After neck fusion surgery, Bradley underwent hospitalization and rehabilitation for the past 8 weeks. 48.
48 years old. Is it permanent? Do they know?
Hold on.
Is it too
Wait a minute.
early?
Wait a minute.
it says
Bradley, 48, was killed in January 20 crash that occurred 1 block from home in St.
This is a terrible story. He did not get killed.
What the hell?
What organization is this? Chips? Yeah.
Oh wow.
Anyway, he's paralyzed.
That's an awful story. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
He was a freak of nature on the basketball court.
Yeah, he played for the Mavs for 7-8 years, I think.
Yeah, tall, crazy tall.
Yeah, crazy tall. He was not real. He was rather skinny for his size.
Well,
though.
I mean, it's kind of hard not to have a weird body with that kind of height.
I think his arms were like 6 feet long. They were tremendously long. Anyway, yeah. So that just reminded me.
Sweet kid though.
Yeah, so he lives up there. He went to Brigham Young
Yeah.
and up there in Utah, and he retired up there, and unfortunately he's gonna. Well, maybe every now and then you hear about those paraplegics who could get it back,
Like
but
a miracle story.
Yeah.
I hope so.
hopefully, but
I would
know.
pray for that. That sucks. I did not know that. That's horrible.
yeah, it just came out. I think they kept it quiet for a while. 'Cause
Yeah,
I
why?
don't
Interesting.
know. I just saw it in the news the other day, and it was like everywhere. So it's they managed to keep it quiet for almost over a month.
I wonder who hit him. Maybe that's the person that died. Because the report clearly said on there
Yeah,
that someone
weird.
died.
That-
I was like, what?
Yeah.
It
just
said
happened?
Bradley 48 was killed. That's why I said that was
That's
terrible.
Totally wrong. Totally wrong.
Yeah. Speaking of deaths, there were a few notable deaths. It's been a couple weeks since we
Yeah,
did
it
this.
has been.
Actually, there's only 3 that. I mean, there's been a bunch of people died, but the 3 that I think we would know. One was Yaphet Kotto.
No.
He was an actor. Did you see the movie Alien?
Oh yeah. That's
The big black guy.
the black dude. Yeah.
He just passed away. I know him from that, and he was in a James Bond movie, To Live and Let Die, I believe. Yaphet Kotto, yeah.
Yep. Okay.
I'm sure he was in a
What
lot.
an
What does he
interesting
look like?
name. Yeah, he's one of the guys killed in the. Yeah, there he is. There he is, an alien.
Yeah, he was an Alien. He was in, like I said, he was in a James Bond one as well. It was the one where they were down in Louisiana, I think, with voodoo and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Anyway, so he was one. I just remember him from my
He
youth,
played a Star Trek?
What was it?
Nice.
I guess.
Was it a?
No.
No, he was 81,
Was it okay? So it was a good natural.
I guess. I
Story.
don't know how or what he died
I
from.
mean, you
but
kind of want everybody to have that kind of story, right?
yeah.
Okay.
The other one was, again, you guys may not know this, was Roger Mudd. He was even before my time or our time. He was a broadcaster, kind of like Walter Cronkite
Okay.
back in the day, and he was in his 90s, I think. And the other one
Okay.
that I remember he was born in 28. Roger Mudd.
Wow, that's a
So,
good long life right there.
Anchor,
Age.
CBS
What
News,
does it say for that?
NBC.
90.
I can't read that. Age
93.
93. So,
Yeah, that's good.
yeah. And the other one that,
Wow, he just died March 9th.
Yep.
yeah. The other one was, and you mentioned him earlier, Marvin Hagler.
Yeah, the boxer.
Yeah.
Now, there's some controversy around that one. There
Well,
are
I don't.
apparent-
Do they
there-
know why he died
there-
yet, or how he died? Not why.
Somehow it started. The rumor was that he died after taking the vaccine. So I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not.
I don't know. I don't know.
So,
But he was big when I was a teenager. He was fighting Sugar Ray Leonard. The Tommy Hearns was another one, maybe. I don't know. But there was a bunch of fighters back then. Sugar Ray Leonard, Hearns, Spinks, and all of them. But I remember him, Marvin Hagler, and Sugar Ray Leonard had some really, really good ones back in the '80s. And he was badass.
yeah, that's too bad.
And he was always bald.
Yep.
So anyway,
That's too bad.
Those are the ones that I'm aware of.
That's too bad. You know, that's the whole thing that about the vaccine is that it does kill some people.
Well, and that's what the controversy was. I think what happened was, did you say Spinks was the guy that he fought against a lot?
No, Sugar Ray Leonard.
So one of his rivals from that time, came out and said something on, and they're best friends now. You know what I mean? So there was no animosity, but ended up saying something about the vaccine, and then it triggered this firestorm of people being anti-vaccine, and that really upset the family, and it upset his wife, and she made a post that said, you guys are taken away from, I mean, I don't know exactly how she worded it, but you're basically taken away from like the moment we need to be focused on, right? And there were people that were criticizing them for being, people for being anti-vaccine or whatever. But I think that was one of the big things that came out of it is he had just taken the vaccine, and they're saying that's what caused it. So I don't know.
But I think we could end the show with Sean talking about the bourbon that we're drinking
Yeah, let's do that.
because we didn't touch on it. It's
the
one
Nine Banded.
It's one of Sean's favorites. Actually, it's I think it's all of ours kind of favorites.
All right. Well, Nine Banded's first of all, they've got two types of Nine Banded. They got the black label and white label. And we tried the white label for the first time, and we thought it was just okay. And then they ended up remaking the mash bill, and it turns out it's even better now. But we kind of gravitated towards the black label, which is a wheated bourbon. I don't think the white label is wheated.
It's not. It's a standard bourbon.
So the black label is a wheated bourbon. It's 45% wheat. It's 51% corn. So it just
black or white. I'm sorry. Which one's
black is the wheated.
Okay.
Black is the
we're
wheated.
drinking. That's the one we're drinking.
And it a lot of the bourbons that they claim to be a wheated bourbon, they still have a super high content of corn, but 70% ish. Like Maker's Mark, I think is 71% or something like that.
Right.
And then what makes it wheated is that the ratio between the other two, wheat is more than the other one.
Well, I think they replaced the rye with wheat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is what they do.
But they have a lot of wheat. I'll tell you what, when you have a lot of wheat, it's been my experience with my taste buds. I don't want to pretend I'm a professional or I've got the palate for this, but it's been my experience with the larger the number of wheat, the percentage of wheat in there, it just tastes sweeter and smoother.
It does. I get the same. I have the same feeling.
Yeah, but
I enjoy it.
But we got a wheat whiskey that we did not care for.
Yeah, there is too much wheat.
Yes.
And it's very earthy.
I want to say grassy.
You know what?
Grassy, yes.
I think we already determined that percentages of rye versus wheat versus corn versus does not define the taste of a bourbon or whiskey.
Well, it plays into it.
It does. What I'm saying is we can't, we already learned that from rye.
Right.
Because
Because you thought rye was nasty.
Well, yeah, because I thought anything above.
Oh, this tastes bad. Must be
there
rye.
you go. Our producer
That's
pulled it
right.
up on the thing. So the
That's
tasting notes, grassy, which is perfect because that kind of brings up the wheated part. Herbal and mineral notes with a touch of butterscotch, which kind of makes it sense. And the mash bill is 51 corn, 45 wheat, and 4 malted barley. Brought to life with limestone. filtered water from the Texas Hill Country.
I tell you,
Austin, Texas.
I tell you, they say we should get limestone water and make ice cubes out of it.
Is that because of the whole distilled type of thing? The
Well, in
color,
Kentucky they use limestone water
right.
to make their bourbon, and that's
How do
what
how do you buy limestone water?
they sell it. You
At
can go on-
Kroger?
you can go into Amazon. Well, I don't know if Kroger has it, but Amazon,
Well, can't you just buy a piece of limestone?
no.
Why?
Well, you and just pour your water over
No,
it.
you
Fuck,
squeeze.
I don't know. How
you
do they
s-
make it?
You squeeze the rock.
It
don't
comes
you?
out of the ground.
You just squeeze
No,
the
hold
rock,
on, hold
and the
on.
water drips out of it.
So is this water that's been sitting in
There's a lot of limestone in Kentucky.
So they've got these huge places filled up with water. that are-
Reservoirs.
Reservoirs.
And-
or limestone
And they run
reservoirs.
through limestone.
Yeah, old limestone. See, and that's one.
So you saying it flavors your bourbon?
They say it enhances it. Yeah, you just put
Really?
it sometimes, or you can just put a couple drops of it in, and the limestone mixes with it, and it enhances. Whether it does or not, I don't know. I've never tried it.
Well,
Making cubes out of limestone. Well, we got to try it.
I don't know, man. I think
Bottom
it's
line is you have to
bullshit.
try it.
Yeah, so I don't know how much a bottle of water.
I would like to visit that place, though.
What, Kentucky?
No, where all that limestone is right there. That looks kind of cool.
Kentucky.
Yes.
I've been to the.
Yes,
Jack
Paul. We
Daniel's
heard. We
distillery.
heard. Thank you.
Yes.
You want me to share that story again?
No. We're looking more at the
Elitist.
That
limestone
was
reservoirs they have.
Limestone.
Limestone. Yes. So yeah. So that's
Hello.
the theory that whether it does or not, I don't know. I've never tried it, but apparently it enhances the bourbon experience.
All right, we're gonna try it. We're gonna buy some limestone
Is there
water
a way to make your own though? I mean, what if you just took water and
Do you have limestone?
and drip some lime into
Well,
it.
hell, you can get limestone from anywhere.
From where?
Limestone is like
Kentucky.
Yeah, I don't want to go. Let's go right now.
Let's do it. And while we're there, we'll pick up some obscure Kentucky bourbons and come back.
oh, I feel a jig coming on with post St. Patty's Day. I think it's coming.
No. We got to end with our normal music.
It's like Far with Tom Cruise.
Far.
What the hell is this?
Far and away.
Far and away. That's what I meant to say.
That's some Enya.
This
in
is
it,
a
I believe.
horrible
It's like
tune to end on.
It sounds like it's a what's it?
This is Riverdance?
Synthesizer?
Clickety 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 clack. Clickety clickety clack. That's what it is.
Were you clickety clacking?
Clickety clacking. I was river dancing.
Was that what the? What, those are the wooden clods or
Yes.
something?
No, that's Holland.
Oh, no, it's not.
That you use clogs. It's the
My
tap
bad.
shoes. You clickety clack.
What the hell's up with the Holland, the clogs,
Dutch.
anyways?
The Dutch.
That's crazy. I used to have a pair of those.
He's trying to squeeze us out. You hear that, Mr. Producer? Trying to squeeze us out right now.
Yes.
All right, good night.
All right. We'll be back.
Yeah, we see you next week.
We'll be sober then.